Welcome to Pioneer Mindset, a place where we challenge our mindset and address the discomfort in both business and life by finding clarity resulting in bold conviction. I'm your host, Garrett Ruskamp, fifth-generation farmer, husband, and father from rural Nebraska. Whether you're navigating frustration from past decisions or worry about the uncertainty you face today in your business, we're going to learn from our struggles and take on new challenges with a resilient mindset. Join me as I share my journey of struggles I've faced in agriculture as a farmer and family man. I'm ready to dive into honest conversations to tackle the mindsets surrounding key issues that rural ag business owners face that will ultimately help you gain control, leading to a profitable and sustainable business. Let's adapt to Pioneer Mindset and get to it. Welcome back, everyone. Today's topic is going to be about talking about the stories within our head and kind of how to deal with those. Kind of where this comes from is in the mornings, I try to do a verse of the day, kind of read a verse of the day on an app that I use that I've been really liking. The verse of the day this morning was, "Whenever I am afraid, I trust in you." For me, when we get to talking about faith, I'm not always going to be touching on faith, but there's times when I think it's really fitting. And it really plays into some of the stories that I was kind of having in my head. And I felt like this was a really good time to kind of dive into this and really work through it. It just got me thinking, what am I afraid of today? What did I do? After I went through that verse, I kind of went down and into my office and I figured, let's just kind of work through this. And so I asked myself, what am I afraid of? What concerns me? What am I worried about today? And so I wrote it all down, kind of word dumped it all to kind of go through some of that, just give you examples. This is stuff that I'm dealing with, and I think a lot of us deal with too. What am I concerned about? Currently concerned about not feeling well. I've had some sickness going through the household, so I'm concerned about not being able to function fully. The other thing that also concerns me is about time management between my body, my being, my balance, and my business. Time management between this podcast and everything that we're trying to do on the farm and just everything that I have on my plate right now. Time management is a concern. I'm also afraid of being a bad dad or not being good enough. And this stems from, last night we had kind of a long weekend trying to put the boys to bed. My tank was empty. I had nothing left to give, and it was just kind of a struggle that kind of plays into the next one. I'm afraid I'll never be able to control my anger and emotions. Things that parents deal with constantly, and just kind of word dumping some of these things out here. Putting it all on paper, writing down my fears, whatever they are, just get it out there. Release it. That's the big thing, is just kind of release it. From there, I kind of go into the next one. I ask myself, what are the facts? That kind of cuts the BS. Kind of get rid of the stories and ask yourself, what is the truth? What are the facts? These are all the feelings of fear. Basically, the feelings are temptations from the devil. That's kind of one that we can address on. Fact that I wrote down is, I did take the time, energy, and mental capacity to write down these fears. And that's kind of a big one. Just ask yourself, what are the facts? I am a husband. I am a father. I am a business owner. I am doing my best. Just write down the facts, whatever they are. It kind of helps cut the BS and really gets through down to what's actually true. And then from there, I go to, what are the empowering stories? You got to change the stories to empowering feelings. Our thoughts turn into real physical feelings. Think of how you feel after you have all these negative thoughts and you write everything down. Kind of feel like shit, right? Just even thinking about potentially getting sick, yeah, you're going to feel like you're actually getting sick. After you list the facts, how do you feel? What does that make you feel like? For me, it made me feel like a sense of calm, a sense of relief, motivation, and courage, knowing God is with me. Those are just different things that made me feel. Now, I want to take this another kind of a side note here is whenever we're dealing with any sort of, I want to say, financial issues, when it comes to maybe scarcity around money, financial projections, or anything of that nature, for me anyways, basically, clarity kills scarcity. If you're living in a scarcity mindset, you need to get clear about your situation. Whether that's your financial projections, your balance sheet, whatever that is, maybe just knowing exactly how much money you have in the bank. Clarity kills scarcity. Get clear on where you're at, and that's going to kind of help some of those stories as well. The next one I want to go to is, what are you grateful for? List things that you're truly grateful for, big or small. And you don't have to go into a lot of detail. You don't have to list out 100 things, but just list a few things. Thankful I am a father and a husband. thankful for the opportunities I have currently, thankful for the house we live in, whatever it is, just list it out. Be thankful. That kind of helps you get into another positive state of mind. Now, lastly here, it's important that we take action. Great to put all these things and these thoughts out down on paper, but for me, my mind usually doesn't believe it until I take action or kind of see results. You need to really get out there and kind of go after it. And I'll list some actions that you can take. I'm going to kind of go back to this first. Whenever I'm feeling afraid or worried or whatever that is, I can say to myself, whenever I am afraid, I trust in you. And that's just something that I think is good to remind yourselves physically, or maybe it's an action for you is to physically tell someone that you're thankful for them. I think it's good to get out there and actually take action so you can kind of see the results and helps you work through some of those stories. I want to kind of recap with some of these lessons here. There are some things that I've actually learned that have really helped me. Most of what we worry about never actually happens. That's been put out there many times where about 85% of what we worry about never actually happens. It's good to kind of know, like, geez, I just listed about 20 different things that I'm afraid of. Most of those things are never going to happen. And the things that do probably won't affect me in a very large way. It's good to kind of remind ourselves of that. And then you need to first acknowledge the stories and then release them. I think it's important just to get it out there because it gets it out of your mind, to release it. It's not stuck in your mind. It's not a story that's just playing over and over. Just release it. The next one is this form of journaling. Essentially what it is just what works for me. I think it's important to find something that works for you, whatever that may be. It's got to work for you. What I'm doing, it works for me, but it may not be the same in your case. The next one is it's your choice. I mean, honestly, you've got to realize that maybe if you're going through some tough shit right now or a hard season, this might even upset you or piss you off that people say, well, it's your choice to be happy or you got to be positive. Well, that's easier said than done, but you've also got to realize that it is your choice ultimately. That'll help you. Once you kind of realize that, that's really going to help you work through it. It's not going to make it easier, but it's going to help you work through it. Like everything else, this is continued work in progress. For me, it's always going to be a work in progress, always going to have stories in my mind, but if I can find a way to work through them, that's going to help me out in the long run, kind of get me to where I want to go. Kind of a recap here is, what are you afraid of? Then what are the facts? And then we're going to go to what empowering feelings do you need to have? And then what are you thankful for? What actions can you take today? Not tomorrow, today. Are the stories in your head serving you today? Kind of think about that one. Are the stories currently in your head serving you today? So that's all I got for today. We will catch you next time. Thanks for tagging along with me today as we sharpened our mindsets. If you've gained insight from today's episode, be sure to take a screenshot to share or send this episode to somebody who might also find value in it. For more, follow me on Instagram at Garrett Ruskamp or on Facebook, and join me next time for more conviction through clarity.